Hello, hi everyone. It's Hitesh here. So, welcome to the fifth day of this VBA and macro. In last sessions, we have seen about the looping statement, right? Dimensional arrays, as well as how to work with the worksheets. What is the hierarchy of the worksheet to range to values, right? And we have seen that how to work with the different cells with the specific cells, right? So today we will start with a one particular concept which is called as range objects. Okay, we will start with the objects. Today we are going to work with the range objects only. Now, range object, you might be know that we have talked about the objects thing, right, in last session. Everything in this particular world is an object, and if you talk about in the terms of Excel, it means that this, you can see this home, insert, page layout, formulas, this all ribbon types called as an object. This worksheet is called as an object. Then this particular things which you can able to see in this Excel is an object, right? Now, so this range object represents a range contained in a worksheet object, right? And all the properties and this particular range objects having some kind of properties which you can examine, and you can sometimes change also. Okay, then some of the objects contain the methods where you're going to perform some actions on that particular object, right? So it can be a small single cells. If you're talking about, it can be a small single cell, like suppose this I'm selecting, right? So G14 can also be an, you can send range object, right? And if you are selecting the this particular cell like this one, from M14 to S23, right, this is considered as to be an object, right? So when you refer this object, okay, whenever you refer this particular things, there's always some kind of an addresses surrounded by the quotations, remember. Okay, you can see that yeah, this my M14 and S23, this M14 to S23 is some kind of an object I am getting here, right? So but in internally, this particular thing gets stored as in like a worksheet as an address one, like it will be stored in a hexadecimal format like A1 XFD 1047, like this way. Okay, at internally at the back end. But at a front end we can say that yeah, this is kind of an cell which is representing from M14 to the T26, like this one, right? So let's open our VBA editor code by using Alt plus Fn. Yeah, now you can select a view code here. Now if you'll see, suppose what I'm selecting, let's create some range objects. Okay, where I'm getting one procedure, range objects. In this, what I'm doing, we know guys, right, what do we have to do, how we can select our particular anything if you want to select, like worksheet. Okay, worksheets, and definitely I'm going to use the sheet 1 because my default name is sheet 1 dot range, and inside the range I'm selecting from suppose A1 to C5, right? It means that I selected these cells from A1 to C5. If I'll go to this one, can you see A1 to C5 I have selected, okay, this much, okay, this much range I have selected in my worksheets. Now see worksheet dot sheet 1, okay, worksheets which I have taken this worksheet. Inside the worksheet I have a sheet 1 name. Inside the sheet 1 I'm selecting the cells. So for selecting the cells I'm using the range method, right? And in that range method we are taking from A1 to C5, from A1 to C5, right? Now if you will see, suppose this particular sheet contains different types of data sets. Okay, so you can take the data set like, so suppose I am just importing one data set here. Okay, so you can import a data set, any data set you want. Suppose I'm using this store data. What type of data is this? Let me take, okay, now yeah, great. Can you see, this is the salary data I have with me, right? This is the salary data I have with me. Now what you can do, just go to your VBA editor and to the right click, view code, again create some function because I have deleted that particular sheet 1 part, right? So that's why it's taking again. Now just go to worksheets, and inside the worksheets, which store I have which type of data I have taken. If you remember, go to file, this salary data we have taken, right? And the salary data is in this .csv format, so we have to include the .csv format here, right? Salary dot csv format, okay? And got it. Dot, what you can select, you can select range, and range you can give from A1 to C5, from C5, right? It means that you have selected from A1 to C5 from the data, A1 to C5. If I'll execute here, okay, this is okay. Script range out of range is going. Yeah, I have to again include some kind of an file. Okay, let me include our worksheets again. So worksheets, inside the worksheets, sheet 1 and dot range. Okay, so I have included this one. So if you'll see worksheet salary, okay, wait a minute, CSV file I have to include. It should be a CSV, and inside the CSV, right, this file we have included. Now inside this, suppose if I'll run this particular functions, okay, it's showing that script is out of range particular thing, right? Now if you'll do this particular range functions, and let's comment this one using apostrophe, okay, it means that, see, when you're going to this worksheets, okay, this from this, see, now from A1 to C5, whatever things will be there, it will going to be, see, we're going to select this one from A1 to C5. Okay, it means that I have selected the value from A1 to C5. That's what I want to do. Just written in this particular functions, right? You can able to see this particular function. So I have written this one. Now if I'll see, now suppose this is for the, you can say, one range. If I wanted to perform in different ranges, right, like I've selected the cells from A1 to this C5 also, and again I wanted to select again with this one also, right? Like in this way, if I'm selecting one here, and if I'm selecting one here, and if I'm selecting one here, like this. Okay, so around 3 type of ranges I should able to select it. So how you can do, you can go to your sheets and you can put your comma here. Okay, and again here you can give a reference to the sheets, means, say, by using comma, and here suppose you are selecting like from A11 to C16, right? So from A11 to C16, right? Got it? From A11 to C16. Now from here, suppose, okay, wait, there must be a double inverted comma here. Okay, right, what we have done, we have just selected the non-contiguous ranges just by using the here, that is control plus key, and selecting the various ranges with your mouse. Okay, you can select the different non-continuous ranges. Okay, it's not continuous because see, you're not able to find any kind of a continuous thing here. Okay, now we have like the more you work with a VBA, okay, the more you realize that it's fairly well conceived language, because it's usually use a quite of a logical functions. Oftenly, it provides some multiple ways to perform some kind of an action. You can choose the most appropriate solution for your problem in a VBA code easily. Okay. Now we have talked about the range properties a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the, that is, cells properties, right? And that cells properties where we're going to see how the particular cells will going to perform or will going to help with the some ranges functions, right? Now if you'll see that by using the all the ranges properties which we are trying to predict, right, whatever the cells so we are trying to means achieve from it, although it will going to show me the subscript out of any index because of its the things which I am selecting here in Excel. Okay, it's just like it's not giving any kind of an perfect range, right? Now let's go to, let's create a different procedure here, like sub range cells properties, and in that cells properties, now suppose here you have been noticed that that I wrote as some kind of a cells property procedure here, right? Now it means that we are working with some cells object, or you can maybe say as a cells collection. Okay, cells is also kind of an object inside the this Excel property, right? Rather, cells properties will going to evaluate the VBA code more efficiently, because how it will going to return the some kind of an object more specifically a range object, if it seems kind of a strange, right? Because see, every Microsoft appears to be confused about this type of issue when you're working with the cell methods. Now suppose you're writing worksheet, okay, and that worksheet dot, or let's take for our sheet 2 dot cells, and from 2 and 3 cells. Okay, we are selecting like this way. Okay, wait. Okay, cells basically we're going to take the two numbers. One number is that is row and one is column. Okay, and both of these arguments are actually number only, even though we are usually refer to columns by using the letters. Okay, but suppose on cell sheet, let me take a different sheet here, sheet 2, right? And let me delete this sheet. This is sheet 1, this is sheet 2, right? Now okay, again we have to create a different code on sheet 2. Let me go here and let's create our, you can delete this sheet. Great. Now again open a VBA editor and here view code, write the cells properties. Okay, and here suppose I am trying to access this sheet, so from your work sheets, sheet 1, right, dot cells 2 comma 3. It means that second row and third column I'm trying to expected second row and third column I'm trying to execute. But yeah, but if you implement this method, okay, with just till here, it will going to show you error because of this this cells required some kind of a value, right? Because the expression always requires some kind of a value. If you're working with, suppose I can give the value to the range, some particular range I can give the value. Okay, if I want to select some sheet and I'm selecting worksheets dot, or if you're taking the sheet, okay, taking this sheet 1, okay, dot range, and that range suppose you are specifying so from A1 to H10, okay, and in that you are giving some value, so you have to use the value property for this, and the value property will be 99. So I can say that yeah, you're going to execute, you can execute this thing because this has been given a some kind of a value. Even if you're not giving any kind of a value here, right, suppose for the time being I'm not giving any kind of a value, but still you're able to do the enter, right? It means that syntax is not kind of a wrong one, but you have to give like dot value property you have to use, and suppose 9900 anything you're giving, and then try to run this. Okay, if you have run this, go to that sheet, your Excel sheet, can you see from A1 to H10 you have printed a 100 there, right? Now if you go, if you try to execute this one, okay, and do the enter, see it's getting the expected. Why? Because it's expecting us some kind of a value within that range which I'm trying to apply. So suppose I have given us some kind of an from of suppose of 14 row or any kind of an and 6 column like this, or maybe or 10 column like this, and I'm trying to expect the value from it, like the value equal to same, suppose like this, this value I'm trying to obtain. See, it isn't giving me any kind of an error, right? Now if I'm trying to execute that and go to that sheet, now see what you can see here, right? 14th row and this 10th column is giving me this values, 14th row and 10th column specifically with this cell. Can you see? Specifically with this cell, right? 14th row and 10th column. So this is the kind of a cells properties which will going to working, right? So this is a cell property. Now next we will going to talk about the some kind of an one property is very famous called as an offset property, okay, which gives or provides us some kind of another handy means for referring the particular ranges, okay, and this property, offset property, operates on the range object only and returns the another range object, okay. Let's you refer to a cell which is already a particular number of rows and columns away from the different cells. Like the cell property only, the offset property has a take two arguments. The first argument is going to represent some kind of a number of rows to offset the value, and second represent will going to number of columns to offset the value. Now suppose we are working with the offset property, and I am taking here, okay, and let's create our offset procedure, okay, and inside the offset what I'm trying to build, I have taken a different procedure, so I have to use in worksheets, sheet 1, okay, dot range, and range I am taking as suppose K11 I am taking, depends upon you, dot offset 1 comma 2, okay. So I've used the offset 1 comma 2, means at range this K11, wait, okay, now see, now offset if I'm trying to access like this, right? Let me delete this one first. Now if I'm trying to want to access this one range k11, I can able to access very easily like k11 or k11, right, like this way. So it means that I want to print some kind of a value. I want to do some kind of a manipulation on this k11 cell. Now if I using the offset, right, just like how the cell is giving me a error, right, at the time of when I'm just declaring and I'm not doing any kind of an, you can say, question, any kind of an value I'm assigning to. So this way also is giving me some kind of an expected output, right? It's saying that expectedly you have to give some kind of a value to me. Okay, so if I'll say dot value equal to 1458, anything you want, or suppose you're giving in string, so let's give in a string. Okay. Now see, I've taken a k11 and offset I've taken as a 1 2, right? Now if I run this and go to the sheet, what you can see, at m12 I got my value as Hitesh at m12, and we have set it what, we have set it range as a k11, right? But offset, it means first row and second column. Okay, from here, right, k11. So from here it will going to select my first row, and from here 0 1 2 second column. You got it? If I'm selected the range from k11, it means setting first row and second column. If I'll change this to 3, it will go to n, right? Now let's run this. See, it's got to n1. Can you see? So this is kind of an offset property, right? If you wanted to do the reverse, so you can use the -1 -2 like this way, right? Now suppose you wanted to apply some kind of a time, right, at a 0 1. Suppose I want to apply some kind of a time at that specific cell. So what you can do, let me take this sheet and let me delete the value, right? Delete the value, and here I'm setting as range a1 offset 0 1. I'm setting, we got a value equal to time because I want time value. Now if I run this, let's go to the sheet. See, we got our time, it is 7:25:53, right? Every time I'll run this, it will going to change it. See, every time I'll run this, it will going to change. See, can you see, right? So this is kind of an, you can say, giving some kind of a value to specific offset. Now offset I have set it as a 0 to 1, so it should give to the next column, but in the 0 row. Okay, although this range properties, okay, range having dozens of properties in order to use it, and you can write a VBA programs non-stop for the so many properties. And some range properties also having some read only properties also, which means that your code can look at their values but can't change them. Okay, just you can look at that particular value. Okay, suppose every range object having some kind of an address property which holds the range addresses. Just now I have explained you how the range addresses can be just done in the backend server, right? And in this read only property, you can't change it the name, which make perfect sense that you can just think about it, that if you like to try any of the changing the names at the backend, then you have to do little bit of coding, a little bit of programming, which is this VBA programming, which is little bit, you can say, become very complex because you are trying to changing that particular addresses value which is already at the backend, right? Now we have some value property, we have seen the value properties, right, how the value properties work. So if you want, suppose I'm using the message box and in message box I'm using worksheets dot, sorry, it's sheet 1 dot range, and range I'm selecting from A1 to C3, anything you, it depends upon you, dot value. Okay, this is the value property we have taken, but I'm not taking any kind of a value. If I'll run this, okay, let me give a different procedure. Let's create a different procedure, some values. Okay, values procedure I'm taking, and do this and run this. But it's saying that type getting mismatch. Okay, cool. Type getting mismatch. Okay, it means that single cell having, okay, suppose now value equal to, we are assigning anything, and after running this value, let's see, yeah, it's done. 1 2 3 1 2 3, that's great. Let's go to, okay guys, as you can see, this is a some kind of an, see, the time function which I have used here, it become setting to the next 12 format, 12 or 24 formats. Now here, this worksheet sheet 1 dot range A1 to C3 dot value equal to 1123. We have set the value from 1123, but if we try to print with this, okay, type getting mismatched, so we're not able to print the values which we are trying to print. Okay, now we have selected, or we have given, like for the specific cells we are working, so it's for specific we are giving the our this values we are assigning to the cell, right? We can also assign a multiple values to the multiple cells, okay, or same value to the multiple cells, you can say, right? And if you wanted to work with a variable, like variable things from where you wanted to work, so you can use the dim, suppose x as an integer you are taking, and in that x, suppose we are taking the range, right? And inside the range I have taken A1 to C3, same one, okay, and dot value and message box which I'm trying to predict x having the 1 comma 2, one column. If I'll run this, expected array, okay, it should be expected array inside the this box. Because we are getting some kind of an error, guys, should telling the expected array. Okay, okay, it's telling the error because we are not just giving any kind of an, say, a value, or you can say it's not taking the reference of the particular sheet which we are trying to access the values. Okay, now suppose here if we are trying to access that particular sheets, so yeah, it's not taking. Again, the value part is not taking from here, so you can assign the statically typed value, okay, because the dynamically is not taking, so you can print as message box type getting mismatch again. Okay, I can't use with I guess, yeah, 0, right? At 125 position we got a value 0, type is getting mismatch. And now next come to our next property, which is called as a we have done with the offset, then we have done with the value, we have done with the cells, right? There's also property which is called as an count property, or maybe a text property. If you want to display any kind of an text, or column or row properties is there, right? It's basically for that rows and columns. If that range object consists of more than one cell, then the column property returns the column number, and if the range contains property returns the row number of the first row, and it's going to return the first row of the cell, right? Then we having the address properties. If you wanted to know the address of the specific cell you want, okay, you can use the address property. Like, let me give you some proper definition of it. Okay, address property, let's write some code. Suppose in message box I want to see the our properties like range, and inside the range I'm using cells. So inside the cells I'm using cells, and inside the cells from 5 to 5 I want the address of it, right? I want the address of it. If I run this, see what is the address? It is from $A$E$5. Can you see? So in this way we can able to access the address of specific cells we want, from first row, first column, 5th row and 5th column, right? You can say first row, first column, 5th row, 5th column. That's why $A, $1. $A is a row, 1 is a column. $A, $5, row, column, in this way. Okay, so this is the address property. Then we have some, you can say, we also have one very popular property which is called as an hash formula, which is it returns the true if the single cell range contain any kind of a formula. It returns the false if the cell does not have any matching formula which is. So if the range consists of more than one cell, VBA will going to return the true value for it, and only if all the cells in the range contain a formula, or false. So if all the cells in the range don't have some kind of a formula, it is going to return the true. So the property can be a setting as the null value, or if there is some kind of a mixture of formulas are there, or some non-formulas in the range has been given, right? Or you can say then it will going to return the null value. But null is a kind of a non man's land, because the answer can neither be true nor the false. That is called as a null, right? So any cell in the range may or may not have some kind of a formula. Now suppose if I'm trying to access some kind of a let's create our one particular procedure, name as an sub has formulas plus properties. Okay, and this procedure what I'm trying to write, suppose dim formula test. Okay, as boolean, we can set that formula test equal to range, and inside the range, that is a2 dot has formula or not. You can say has formula or not. If we'll try to run this, we are getting, see, setting that a1 is 2 having some kind of an has formula or not, right? Now suppose we are trying to take it with the help of message box. Okay, formula test. If I'll print this, see false, right? Showing me that false, it doesn't have any kind of a formula value within the a1 to a2, because we have some just numbers, and it doesn't have some formulas. Got it? Now suppose here only we can check for the formulas also. How? Now I'm creating one variable, you say formula test only. You can set as formula test, dim formula test. Okay, as variant. Now suppose formula test I'm selecting as a range, and inside the range I'm giving as a1 to a2. Okay, and dot has formula, right? As formula property we are using, Now if type name, suppose type name formula test, okay, type name formula test equal to null, equal to null, then message box will be with a mixed one. Okay, and inside this else we can set as message box formula test. We can end if and end sum. Okay, now let's run this. You can say false value I've got, and again I've got the false value. So let me give the comment to this. Let me give the comment to this. Okay, let me give comment to this also. Now if I'll trying to predict, if I'll trying to see, I got a false value. Why? Because definitely I can see that it's given me the false, because the boolean data type which can hold only the true and false in the message box, right, which causes the actual. Now if you see this type name function which this declared here, this type name function, what is giving is determine the data type of the formula test, this formula test variable. Okay, this formula test variable is determining the data type of it, and the data type of this, like if the range has some mixture of formulas, non-formulas, so definitely this small message box is going to display the mixed, otherwise it will going to display the 12 false. So definitely at that particular range which is having the from a1 to a2, we don't have any kind of a formula, that's why we have checked the has formula property. If you don't have any kind of a formula, definitely it will going to return me the either true false value, or if it is there kind of a mixed formula, so it will going to return me the mixed. But if it doesn't have, we have seen that, so you say false, right? Now suppose we can work with a, we can say different property, bold properties, a font type of properties, right? Different font you can set, so you can use the dot font method. If you want to use the interior property, you can use the dot in color one or dot interior, right? Now what happened if I wanted to do the formula, right? If I wanted to do the formula, suppose formula we are setting as formula. So what you can do, you can select the worksheet just like normal worksheets in sheet 1 dot range a1, okay, range a13 you can set, because it even we are already having some values, but you want to use the formula, and inside the formula what you're trying to do, you're trying to return sum of it, right? Sum of a1 to, let me see the sum of a1 to a3, the sum of a1 to a3. Suppose you wanted to do 1 to a3 back close, and now just run this. If you'll see, if I run this procedure and if I'll go to here, can you see sum of a1 is to a3? Did you got this, right? So but I have written what I have written, just only the formula of it. Now I want to execute that formula, so write the equal to, and now done, we have executed the formula. See what we got, 3369. So we are able to do the sum of from a1 to a3, right? So this is called as in formula property. You can use implement any kind of formula, not only the sum, you can implement the if, count if, or you can implement the total average. Okay, depends upon you, right? So for today we are just setting with the properties and different range objects. Tomorrow we will see how we can activate some particular cell, how we can work with a number format properties, Okay, like some of the important methods which is given by the range objects, we're going to see that. Okay, for today this much is enough. Okay. So guys, if you wanted to learn this in deep, okay, this automation, and you wanted to know about the more courses which is provided by the Coachx.Live, definitely you can just go to Coachx.Live. Okay, and there they're going to help you at the best level. Okay, so till then, bye bye guys, take care and see you tomorrow.